Hello and welcome to this live. If you are an English learner and you would like to improve your pronunciation and develop more of an American accent, that's what I do. So feel free to watch this video, check out my other videos because I've created so many resources for you to improve your English. So first of all, if you're watching from from Facebook, don't forget to like and follow. If you're watching from YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell to be notified when there are new videos. And of course, at the end of this, we are going to have a cool little question and answer period. So if you have any questions about pronunciation, the American accent, getting more of an American accent at the end, and even between my little presentation things, you can ask me questions. So, of course, don't be shy to say hello and tell me where you are, tuning in from. But I'm going to start it off right now and say or share a few announcements. So, here are my announcements. Announcement number one. Get ready for September because there are going to be options for you guys to have one-on-one conversation practice with me if you are interested, one-on-one accent training, and other fun things. I'm considering creating weekly pronunciation groups. So if you are interested, let me know by either clicking down in the description or commenting secrets. No, sorry, not secrets, weekly groups on the replay, and I will share with you the link to join the interest list, I guess, the wait list. Next, you may have noticed, or you're going to notice that there are a lot less videos on YouTube. I'm going to be going live a lot more often. So this will allow you to come ask questions, connect, and get, I guess, live Q&A if that's what you would like. I'm going to start announcing that through my email list to allow you to ask questions in advance so you can watch the replay. Next, something exciting that I am really excited about. I am creating a course. That's why I am creating less YouTube videos. The course is going to be Secrets to Sounding More American. So if you'd like to join the waitlist for the Secrets of American English, we're going to be focusing on the secret sounds that you may not realize that Americans pronounce, which make them sound more American. And we're also going to be focusing on mastering the rhythm, stress, and flow of English. Because did you know you can have perfect pronunciation, perfectly pronounce each sound in American English, but still sound foreign and still not have an American accent? That's usually where rhythm, stress, and flow comes in. So this is what we're going to be tackling together. So I'm actually going to put a little ticker that's going to go across the screen. Feel free to say hi if you're tuning in. And yeah, again, if you want to know more or to sign up for the weekly groups, type weekly groups in the comments. And you can also type secrets in the comments if you're interested in this course. I'll be able to reply on the replay. I'm not sure if I can reply here. And hi, Jackson from Brazil. Ciao. I think that's how you say hello. So thank you for coming, Jackson. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Feel free to ask. So today, what I want to talk about is I'm going to restart this because I'm going to keep this as a video. So here are 5 tips to improve your American accent faster and more effectively if that is your goal as an English learner. So I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips, actually 6, because there's a bonus one, on how to be effective and how to transform your accent. So tip number 1 is this is optional as you see, get an accent coach with the accent you actually want. I put optional because is it necessary? Not always, but it's going to take you a lot more time, a lot more energy. You're going to make a lot more mistakes. And near the end of your accent improvement journey, you probably will need a coach if you want to perfect your accent. So I want to talk a little bit about hiring versus not hiring. Having an accent coach versus not having an accent coach. So, like I mentioned, not hiring somebody, um, it might take you a very, very long time, or maybe you might not ever get the accent that you want. Whereas if you hire somebody, you'll be able to get there faster. Okay, so it's just something to consider. And you also have guidance, right? Where when you're doing it on your own, it's kind of exhausting. I'll be honest, because I am doing that myself in my second language. Now, I also want to mention if you are going to hire an accent coach, whether it be me, whether it be somebody else, be careful with accent coaches, even American accent coaches that have a foreign accent, or even a native speaker that does not have the accent that you desire to have. So, for example, let's say you live in New York. You probably, I would imagine, would want to have more of a New York accent. In that case, I do not have a New York accent, so I'm probably not the best accent coach for you. Actually, I would refer you to somebody else. So make sure you have an accent coach that has the accent that you want, okay? Or they're able to teach you that accent. Because sometimes, for example, there are some accent coaches that know a bunch of accents, right? New York accent, the general American accent, maybe an accent from Texas. So just make sure that they have the ability to have the accent that you want. And something I want to say is just because somebody does not speak English as the first language doesn't mean that they cannot have perfect pronunciation in American English. So, for example, Jesus Flores, he is an American accent coach. His first language is Spanish, but he speaks English perfectly. Okay. So, that's something that I just want to mention. Just because someone does not speak English as a first language does not mean that they cannot speak English perfectly with a perfect American accent. However, sometimes there are problems. So, do your research. Next, tip number 2 would be to practice daily. When you have your accent coach sessions, you probably, at least if you're working with me and most accent coaches, you probably will have homework. Homework in the sense of pronunciation drills to do without throughout the week. So even just practicing 5 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, it's really important if you want to make permanent and lasting changes with your pronunciation and to permanently change your accent. So do those exercises. Do it. It's so important because if you don't, your accent is not going to change like you would like it to. I mean, if you do every second day or a few days a week, there will be change probably, but practicing daily is the best way to maximize your training. Tip number 3. I don't know if all coaches offer this. I know I personally do. Usually through Telegram, I will offer to my students, it's optional, but I will offer them the opportunity to send me a quick voice note to say, am I pronouncing this right? Especially when we've learned a new sound that is difficult. So don't be afraid if you're allowed to, if your coach invites you to check in with your coach to make sure you are pronouncing the new sound correctly, if it's an option. For me, if people purchase a package where we see each other week after week after week, this is an option. I think sometimes people are shy to do this. But an example I give to my students is that even a day or two after we have a session with a new sound, especially if it's a sound that's difficult or new, don't be shy to send me a 10 to 30-second message using the new sound to say, hey, am I saying this correctly? Because, like I mentioned in tip 2, it's important to practice daily because that creates the habits in your speech that creates the change that you want. But if you're practicing it incorrectly, you are adopting that incorrect sound in your speech. So don't be afraid. In fact, I recommend it because I want my students to have that transformation. Don't be afraid to send a shoot or shoot me a quick little voice message saying, am I saying this right? Because I want to be able to correct you if you don't, or I want to be able to say, yes, you're doing it perfectly. Continue practicing until next session. So, again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Tip number 4 is to speak with native speakers to practice. This is really important because one, it's important to have good input. So to hear the English that you want to acquire, the accent, the vocabulary, the slang. You want to be able to absorb the correct English if you want to speak like a native speaker. Listen to a native speaker. So, speak with native speakers to practice. If you can't, for whatever reason, maybe you do not live in Canada or the United States, or maybe it's just hard to make friends, listen to YouTubers that are American. Listen to the news in American English, right? There's different ways of being able to have that input and then practice with people if you need to. There are ways to find conversation partners. So, again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And for any other comments, I'll be reading them after. Tip number 5 is important. I should have said B. But tip number 5 is be intentional about your English input, which is what I mentioned. But in this tip, I want to say something that some people may not like. It might be a little bit touchy, but be careful who you interact in English with, especially when you are learning new pronunciation habits, new pronunciation intonation techniques, because if you hang out and spend most of your time in English with people who make mistakes, who have a foreign accent, it might be harder for you to improve your English to speak more like a native speaker. So, an example for this for me is my second language is French. So, when I was really working on my pronunciation, I tried to spend more time with French speakers, francophones, rather than English speakers that were trying to speak French because I would sometimes pick up on their bad habits. I'm not saying it's bad to hang out or to talk with people who have a foreign accent, but if you are working on certain techniques, be really intentional about getting input from people who have the accent that you want, that have the English that you want. Um, it's just something to really be mindful of. So, for example, it's like if I was learning how to paint and I had really bad habits, and my teacher was trying to correct my really bad habits when I was painting, I probably would be more intentional about painting with people who have the good techniques, have good techniques in painting, if this is even a thing, rather than hanging out and learning how to paint and sharing tips with people who don't know how to properly paint with painting techniques. If that's a thing, I'm sure there's I'm sure there's rules. Um, so something to consider. Now, I want to talk about the bonus tip. You guys may know that shadowing is a really, really great way to improve your pronunciation. Like I mentioned, you can have perfect pronunciation, but still not sound like a native speaker. Might be because of the stress, the intonation, the flow of English, right? So, when you are shadowing, when you're listening to a native speaker and repeating after them, maybe you're listening to a YouTube video, have a specific thing that you are listening for. Usually, it's something that you are currently working on, trying to improve. Maybe it's a certain sound, maybe it's a certain pattern, whether it be like intonation pattern, maybe it's just a different phenomenon that you were listening for. Listen for it. And then keep that in mind so that when you repeat, you're able to use and focus on the things you're working on, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping that helps um, in terms of improving and maximizing your efforts and improving your American accent and yeah, just improving. I'm going to check out the chat here. Again, if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm actually going to change my screen here. So I want you guys to be able to ask me questions. So that's what we're going to do. And I have my little screen set up here. All right. Hey, Jesse from Pakistan. Hello. I'm in Canada, by the way. I see my next question is, are you American? I'm not American in the sense of being from the United States. I am Canadian, so I have an American accent, if that makes sense, because we speak pretty much the same. Hmm. I love this question. I have another question I see that's really interesting. I'm just gonna scroll up here because I cannot see my screen. I don't know why. One second. I just can't see the top of my screen. That's okay. All right, next question. Quick question. I love it. Is it possible to get Is it possible to get to having a near native accent with just shadowing? I've met people that have done that, though not sure how feasible it is. Um, I think there's ways to be effective when you are shadowing a native speaker, and then there's ways that if you're not doing it effectively, you might not, improve. And I really love that you asked this because next live that I'm doing, um, I'm going to be allowing you guys to listen to this English learner's accent. He has an almost native American accent, like almost perfect. And he did a lot of it through shadowing, and he talked about how he did it. So I am just waiting for his permission to see what I can share and what I can't. But in my next live, I'm going to be reviewing his accent briefly. And while he's speaking, he is answering my questions on what advice he would give to English learners in order to improve their accent. And he did a lot of shadowing, but he also shares other techniques. Um, so, is it possible? I think you can get really far and improve your accent a lot through shadowing. Um, but this is just what I would say. It's important to also get feedback because you could be listening to the native speaker. And because of your native language, you may only be able to hear certain sounds and you might not be able to distinguish between different sounds in American English. So you might think that you are correctly repeating after them, but you might not be. So, yes, shadowing is important. Yes, look at different, like whatever you're working on, listen for that when you're shadowing. For example, if you're working on the TH sound, so instead of saying this, you don't say, and say this, but don't say dis or zis. So the more that you listen to it and you're able to distinguish the difference between sounds and you repeat after native speakers, you should be able to improve your English. But there's an aspect where you do need feedback to know if you're doing it correctly and if you're not. I'm hoping that makes sense. Let me know. But there's a lot you can do with shadowing. There is a lot. I'm just going to put my little Q&A sign up. Does anyone have any other questions? Now, this is really weird. I cannot see any more questions. I think if I change my screen, maybe I'll be able to. One second. I'm having some technical difficulties here. Yeah, if you have any questions, ask. I don't see anything as questions right now, but I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm just going to remove my. Okay, this is really weird. I'm just going to take a quick little break. All right, so I kind of have figured it out. If I make my screen bigger, I can see the comments. So right on, I'm just going to answer questions. So feel free to ask questions. I'm actually going to put a quick little banner here to indicate that I am answering questions. So this is your time. Yes, this is your time to answer questions. I mean, ask questions. Your time to ask questions. All right. Right. So this is really frustrating. I just lost all of the comments again. There we go. Okay. Hello. How can I improve my accent in a in a short time for Okay, that is a good question. So, I would say just listen to native speakers, repeat after them. I have a lot, and I mean a lot of videos. So, if you desire an accent that is more American, I have a lot of playlists. I'm actually going to share a little thing here. I have a lot of YouTube playlists. I don't know if you're watching on yes, you are watching on YouTube. I have a lot of playlists. I have pronunciation help playlists. I have English learning tip playlists. I have improve your American accent playlists. I would say listen to my videos every day. So I have a lot of repeat after me videos. I don't know what your first language is, but and I don't know how good your pronunciation is, but if you have certain sounds that you want to work on, feel free to let me know which sounds and I might have some advice. But just practice. Listen to my videos on YouTube because Facebook I do not have. I don't have a lot of videos. Hello, Robert. I'm so excited to see you. Ciao. Ciao from Brazil. Next question. Okay, hello. Answer my question. Yeah, so I just answered it. Next, how to learn the American accent. So, how to learn the American accent. Like I mentioned, I have a bunch of playlists. I would say the best playlist for you to check out would be my playlist that says Speak Like an American. Speak Like an American or Canadian playlist. This is where I speak and let you repeat. So I really help with pronunciation. Um, mhm. I will actually put it in the description of this video after after I finish this live. I also have accent reduction tips. So if you have a fairly decent understanding of English and your pronunciation is, okay, I have a whole playlist on tips on how to improve your American accent and how to like some mistakes that people make, some tips. So feel free to check out that you're watching from YouTube, that YouTube playlist. So if you go to my channel, click playlist, there should be Speak Like an American playlist. If not, I will put that in the description of this YouTube video. Probably not Facebook. I'm sorry. I don't really I don't really put a lot of work into my Facebook. Check it out in the description of my YouTube video after I post this. Mm. What would you say is the best way to passively improve your accent while, let's say, listening to podcasts? Man, you guys have a lot of great questions. Let me see if I can change. Yeah, I know I don't know how to do it. I'll put in the description as well. What I do in with my French, with my Spanish, and with my Ukrainian is I will listen. Let's say I'm driving. I'll listen to a podcast, and if I'm trying to work on different sounds or I want to be able to start producing the sounds from that language, whenever they're speaking, I'll just repeat random sounds. Um, It I have a video on this actually where I record myself driving in my car, listening to a podcast and repeating random sounds, sounds that don't exist in my language. So I would say, listen, whenever you feel like repeating, maybe something sounds funny or different or weird, repeat. That kind of helps you to start hearing the sounds and then being able to produce and repeat those sounds. I would say that. Mm. It's just a good way to passively it's not too much work, it's kind of fun, actually. And especially when things sound weird to you, it's probably because you don't pronounce it like that. Inshallah, we'll follow you. Awesome. I'm hoping I can help you. Um, you're very welcome. Again, I have so many resources, and when I go live, if you have a specific question, I can answer it too. Um, and yeah, haha, you're Brazil. Thank you. I'm glad I had an accurate pronunciation. So that's actually a mistake that a lot of Portuguese speakers will make in English. So that's how I knew that's how it's pronounced, because they don't pronounce the L all the time at the end. So instead of saying mall, they'll say mal. Brazil, Brazil. So I thought I would say it like a Brazilian. All right. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I do not have any more questions, but I can see if I have anything else to share. Again, if you are interested in weekly groups, I'm thinking of having weekly conversation or pronunciation groups. Comment weekly groups in the replay. Yeah. And if you want to possibly get on the wait list for my Secrets of Sounding American course, feel free to write secrets. And some of you guys may know I have a fluency cheat sheet that I made. It's free. So if you're an English learner and you would like to have that cheat sheet, if you comment cheat sheet in the replay, not in the live because I don't know how to I don't know how to make the comments stay. Um, feel free to type cheat sheet if you want me to share with you how to get that. All right. Do you guys have any questions? Because if not, I'm going to end this live. But again, next week, I think it's going to be next week, I'm going to be reviewing an English learner's accent. He's from India. He has an almost perfect American accent. And he wanted some feedback. So I'm going to do a public review. And he didn't know what to talk about. So I actually asked him questions about how he got such an amazing accent. So it's going to be amazing for two different reasons. One, accent reviews are fun. And two, you guys are going to learn his secrets on how he got an almost perfect American accent. So if I don't see any more questions within the next 30 seconds, feel free to type. I'm going to end this live, but I want you guys to know that, yeah, you're going to see a lot more lives from me because I don't have time to make videos anymore. And yeah, don't be afraid to sign up for my Secrets of American course, American Secrets of Sounding More American course that's coming up in September, October. And there's a discount now. So if you guys sign up on the wait list before September, there's going to be a really nice discount. But yeah, looks like we don't have any more questions. So I'm going to end this live. If you're watching the replay, there should be something popping up here. Another video, another playlist that is recommended for you. So take care and thank you for listening. Take care, guys, and bye. Bye bye.